Welcome to our overview of our development project, the Treat Planner, an interactive productivity tool. My name is Carson Merck,
My name is Alan Cruz.
And my name is Seth Stamper.
and we are the developers of this project. Through this project, we focused on an issue many people face today. That is the feeling of being constantly overwhelmed by work, deadlines, and tasks that follow them across the digital space. This nonstop stream of responsibilities often leads to stress, anxiety, reduced productivity, and a loss of clear priorities. We describe this as cognitive overload. Over time, this overload builds on itself, making everyday tasks feel increasingly unmanageable. Our goal wasn't to design the perfect to do app, but to understand how thoughtful systems can help organize, plan, and navigate their responsibilities more efficiently. Ultimately, we learned that people do their best work when they are supported by tools that help them become better planners. To begin our survey, we need to confirm that the problem we were studying actually impacts our stakeholders. Figure 1 helped establish this. When participants rated how often they feel overwhelmed on a scale of 1 to 5, 83.8% chose a 3 or higher. This shows that most respondents experience frequent cognitive strain, reinforcing the need for a planning system that reduces mental stress and supports users as they manage their responsibilities. Figure 2 shows the planning methods people currently rely on. The most used tool was the default Notes app on their phones, even more than the dedicated planning apps like to-do list or calendars. Team-based tools such as Trello and Microsoft Planner followed closely behind. Pen and paper was also used often, indicating that many users still mix traditional and digital approaches. Figure 3 provides one of the most important findings. When participants rated their satisfaction with the current planning methods, 56.4% reported being at least somewhat dissatisfied. This suggests that tools they use either don't function as well as they expect or aren't used consistently enough to be effective. Many respondents selected increase in productivity as the improvement they wanted most, highlighting a gap that our project aims to address.
We created our main designs by thinking of 10 ideas that we liked, which we then further developed with additional features. Our first design was the mobile AI powered planner. This used AI prompting and voice recognition to tackle the issue of increased cognitive load. However, we found that AI integration was outside of our scope, and the AI prompting and voice recognition would not work in all settings. In our second design, we decided to go with the physical on the go planner. This offered a tactile, distraction free experience similar to a physical notepad. It prioritized fast, one handed operation, cloud backups, and handwritten notes. However, requiring users to buy new hardware and carry it with them at all times was not feasible. For our third design, we explored a fully web-based task planning application. This focuses on supporting everyday productivity while intentionally reducing cognitive load through focus tools and adaptive reminders. We decided to go with this design as it fit our project scope and directly aligned with the cognitive problems we discovered earlier.
Building off of our third idea, we built a high fidelity interactive prototype using Python and its library tkinter. Let's take a look at the workflow. First, the user logs in and is greeted by a clean, friendly single window interface. Then, to add a task, they click the New button. Here, we implemented specific data entry controls for scheduling. Notice the drop down menus for time selection. We initially chose these to prevent user error and ensure standardized data formats, but this did have some efficiency trade offs. More on that later. We also integrated a block list feature directly in the main view of the window. By toggling the rightmost button of the Treat Planner's taskbar, the left panel's color shifts to a warning red. This visual feedback is meant to elicit a feeling of restriction mode, and the list allows users to proactively block distracting sites like Twitter or YouTube. In full transparency, the prototype does not actually block DNS requests, but the interface mimics its intended functionality. The heart of the tree planner, however, is its focus mode. When the user hits start, the application forces a system wide dark mode. This is a critical environmental cue. It reduces eye strain and signals to the brain that planning is over and execution has begun. The interface simplifies, showing only the timer, the single task at hand, and a few options. The user has the option to pause the focus timer in case they have to step away for a minute, to exit the focus timer if they change their mind and now's not the best time to complete the task, or they can mark the task as complete, indicating that their job is done. Finally, the calendar view offers a macro perspective. It swaps the active workspace for a high-level monthly schedule, allowing users to spot long-term deadlines before they become emergencies. The icons decorating the calendar indicate the status of each task. A green check indicates a task has been completed. A half-empty yellow circle is for a task that was started but left unfinished, meaning that the focus mode on that task was exited early. A red exclamation mark means that the task's deadline is quickly approaching. And an empty box means that a task has not yet been started. With the design of our initial prototype completed, it was time for us to take a step back and look at it through an analytical lens while listening to user feedback.
All of us as a team conducted the heuristic evaluation to gain insight into its usability, clarity, and interactive flow. We utilized the table template below to record our findings. We found that visibility of system status was our most commonly violated heuristic, leading us to recommend adding informational pop-ups. We also found a disconnect between our mental and conceptual model, as our planner was only clickable. To combat this, we came up with the idea of implementing a drag and drop feature to help with this disconnect. From our predictive analysis, we decided to use the keystroke level model analysis. During this, we discovered a major flaw. In it, we calculated that adding a single task takes a skilled user almost 21 seconds. This is due to the drop-down task. Navigating three separate menus for hour, minute, and AM/PM costs us 9.4 seconds of pure mouse movement. This failed our efficiency specification of 15 seconds. Overall, this predictive evaluation revealed that our current interaction design introduces unnecessary delays for routine actions. Using this information, we plan to revise the input method for scheduling tasks. Our usability testing saw participants attempting to complete a list of tasks. These included basic navigation and data entry, such as entering a new task and using focus mode. To our delight, out of the 10 tasks given to 10 participants, 94% were completed without user error. This highlights that the functionality of our program is evident once it is hinted at. The only issue that emerged from the testing was the block list feature on the taskbar. Though participants were able to use it, tasks that involved accessing or modifying the list consistently took longer than other actions. This indicates that improvements can be made to the visibility and clarity of the block list feature. Our qualitative testing was just as revealing. Think Aloud sessions highlighted a gulf of execution in our navigation. All users struggled with the block list toggle. Because the button label changed and the list content changed in the same space, users lost track of their system state. Several users recommended separating the two functions into distinct controls, exposing both lists simultaneously, or reconsidering the design of the task and block list. These findings provided foundational insight to inform later design changes.
If we had a second semester to continue working on the treat planner, our roadmap would put efficiency at the forefront of our cycle. Research in wireframing would be based on smooth interactions and the existing solutions that have already succeeded in such. For the prototype, first we would dismantle the dropdowns in favor of a smart text entry to slash the interaction time by 50%. While this issue wasn't communicated by users, we predict that it may cause unnecessary cognitive strain, something that we are attempting to combat. Second, we would replace the confusing toggle button with clear tabs to fix the navigation confusion. This alone caused almost all of the friction between users and our product. Solving this issue could help find others that were overshadowed in our previous user testing sessions. And third, we would implement a drag and drop scheduling for the calendar to match the user's mental model. With these updates applied to our program, the gulf of execution would narrow, making for a product that is closer to what our stakeholders are looking for. The tree planner taught us that a beautiful interface is not always an efficient one. What we created to reduce the cognitive burden of a busy life instead offered multiple paths to increase it. By carefully analyzing our data from predictive models and real user testing, we have a clear blueprint for a tool that truly solves the problem of stop planning and start doing. Thank you for watching.